And just where are you giants from? Hmm?
We're from New York, and we...
All hail the New York Giants!
And there's a cause for celebration. We know how to do regression and how to check it and look at it. I want to now go through the whole process. I'm going to throw in a new command you don't necessarily need to know, but you might like to see it. I want to look at a data set called leaves, where we are looking at the size of the leaf and how much oxygen it inputs. And just right now I can see that they're separated by a dash, which is going to be confusing for the program. It's not going to be sure if we're talking about a dash or a negative. So let's grab the URL and see if we can read it in. And my guess is I'm going to need to tell it that it's separated by that dash. Control L. Let's delete that stuff. So when I run this, it says that there's a problem with line 1. I think it's getting confused about how many columns there are here. So I'm going to try what I guess is going to be the solution. Tell it that it's separated by a dash. Hey, there it is, except I forgot to save it as a thing. What should I call it? Let's call it plant. And let's make sure it looks like it read incorrectly. Good. What's the first thing that I want to do when I have a data set? I want to plot it so I can look at it. What are my variables? I have leaf and O2. I want to predict how much O2 based off the size of the leaf. And here is my plot. Does it look like linear regression is appropriate? Well, yeah. But after I run my fit, I'm still going to look at the residual plots because I'm setting up a pattern for how things worked before. Now you'll notice when I run this, I have to come down here and click and go through all 4 plots. There is a way to tell R, show me all the plots at once. That's with this command, R mfrow, and I'm going to tell it to do 2 plots by 2 plots. So over here, it's going to divide this plot section into 4 pieces. Why is that cool? Because now I can see all of them all at once. What am I looking for? Just randomness here. I don't see any real pattern. This is supposed to follow the line. It does kind of in the middle. This side maybe a little less, but real data, that happens, and this is real data. R suggested maybe there was an arc. If there is, I don't see it all that strongly. Ooh, Cook's distance. We can actually see the fence this time, but there aren't any data points outside that fence to cause us to worry. I think this looks good, and so I am ready to look at my results. What do I see? If I was to predict how much oxygen a leaf had, I would start with negative 10.27 and plus the 1.89 times the size of the leaf. The fact that the y-intercept is negative might seem strange, but if you had to interpret this, you'd say, how much oxygen does a leaf of size 0 have? That doesn't make sense. We don't need this number to make sense. We just need it to give us good predictions. So I'm not going to try to interpret it, only this one. Does the size of the leaf matter? Yes, because we have a small p-value. I think I probably could have told you that by looking at the original scatter plot here, but here we have proof, and with more complex models, that's going to be a big deal. How accurately can I predict? I can get it to within 14 of the correct oxygen value, and my R-squared is 0.9469, which is super high, telling me that if I know the leaf size, I can predict the oxygen really well, which doesn't surprise me looking at this picture. So in the next video, I want to go into more detail about this prediction equation, the y equals beta naught plus beta 1x, and talk about how could we draw the line on the plot here. Before I end, let me show you how to turn this off, because you'll notice that if I plot more pictures, they're only showing it in 1/4 of the size because I told it divide it up into 2 by 2. So right here I'm going to put par mf row, go back to 1 by 1 sized pictures, and that way if I want to do a picture, it takes up the whole plot again. So this little bit of code right here is a nice clever way to make it so that you can see all 4 pictures without having to click off and do enter, if that's something that interests you.